Today we are going to look at problems that use perimeter and area. Perimeter is the area around an object, and the area is the inside part. The formula for perimeter is P equals 2 times length plus 2 times width. Or you can add length plus width plus width. The formula for area is length times width. The state park shown has a perimeter of 37 miles. What is the area of the state park? So we are going to use formulas or equations that use symbols to relate two or more quantities to solve this problem. So if we know that the perimeter is 37 and we need to find the area, and we know one side is 7.5, we need to find this side right here. So for step 1, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the length of the state park. So we're going to find this part of the state park, this blue part that I'm coloring in. So we're going to use the perimeter of 37 miles and the width of 7.5 miles to find the length. So first thing we know is if one side 7.5, then the other side up here is also going to be 7.5. So we're going to do 7.5 times 2, or you could add 7.5 plus 7.5, and we would get 15. Next, we're going to take our perimeter, which is 37, and we're going to subtract from the 15 that we got from the width, and we'll get a total of 22. And last, we're going to take 22 because that would be the length of both sides, and we're going to divide by 2 and get 11. So now that we know that this missing side's 11, and we know that this side is 7.5, we can multiply length times width. So we're going to multiply 11 times 7.5, and we're going to end up with 82.5. So the area of the state park is 82.5 square miles. Let's look at the convince me. If the area of another state park is 216 square miles, and the park has a width of 8 miles, what is the park's length and what is the perimeter of the park? Well, in this case, it's giving us the area. So if we have a park and we know that the area, or length times width, in the middle would be 216 square miles, so we can put miles squared, and we know that one side is 8, and we need to find this side right here. I just need to go backwards, and since I know area is length times width, I just need to divide to find out what x would be. Since I've run out of room, I'm going to do this problem on the next page. So I have 216 divided by 8 because I know here is my park. I know that the middle, or the area, is 216 miles squared, and I know one side is 8, so I'm looking for this extra side. So 8 goes into 21 twice. 8 times 2 is 16. I need to subtract, and I have 5 left. I'm going to bring down my 6. 8 goes into 56 7 times, so I know x would equal 27. So the length of the park would be 27 miles. Let's do some problems together to help us understand. Number 1, a sandbox is shaped like a rectangle. The area is 16 square feet. The side lengths are whole numbers. What are the possible dimensions of a sandbox? Do all of the possible dimensions. So all. So I'm going to draw our sandbox. Here's our sandbox, and it is 16 feet squared. So now if it's asking for all the possible dimensions, basically it's just asking for the factors of 16. So what are we going to multiply to get to 16? And I'm going to draw a line down here. So it could be 1 times 16, 16 times 1. It's even, so we can use 2. So 2 times 8, or 8 times 2. 3 will not work. because 1 plus 6 is 7, and we have 4. 4 times 4. So those are all the dimensions that the sandbox can be. Number 2. Write and solve an equation to find the width of a room if the length is 8 feet and the area of the room is 96. So here's our room. The length is 8 feet, so I'm going to put that there, and the area is 96 feet squared. Since area is length times width, and I already know that the area is 96, I know that I need to divide. So we have for our equation 96 divided by 8 equals, I'll put W for width. And if we're going to divide, we know that 8 times 12 is 96, so the width equals 12 feet. So this side would be 12. I moved these to another page so we had more room. Let's look at number 3. We need to find n if the perimeter is 46 inches. So if I know that one side is 8 inches and the perimeter is 46, if I know one side is 8, I know that the other side is 8. So I'm going to add those together or multiply 8 times 2 and get 16. For number 3, the first thing I did was 8 times 2, or 8 plus 8, to get 16 inches for the other side. Now I'm going to take 46 and I'm going to subtract 16 to see how much the other two sides are. So if I subtract, I get 30. So both of these sides right here, this side and this side, are going to be 30 together. Since they're both going to be 30 together, the last step that I have to do is divide. So I'm going to take the 30 that I have and divide it into 2 equal groups, and I would get 15. So n is going to equal 15 inches. So if this side is 15, if I added up all the sides, I would end up with 46. All right, now let's look at number 4. We've got number 4. So we're doing the same thing here. We have our perimeter, which is 26, and we have one side, and we want to find the area. So one side is 9. So first, if one side is 9, then the other side is going to be 9. So I'm going to do 9 times 2, which is 18. If I know that the perimeter is 26, I'm going to take 26 and subtract 18 from the two sides that I already know. And I'm going to regroup and get 8. So both of these sides together, this side over here and this side over here, are going to be 8. So my next step is going to be that I need to divide 8 into 2 equal groups, and I know each side would be 4. So n is going to equal 4. Now I can find the area. I can do 9 times 4, which equals 36. So my area is going to be 36 square centimeters. Let's do number 5. I'm going to do that one down here. We have to find the perimeter. Well, the thing I know about number 5 is that the perimeter, this is a square. So in a square, all the sides are equal. So if this side's 5.5, then all the other sides are going to be 5.5. So since there are 4 sides, I need to do 5.5 times 4. Now, there's a few different ways you can do this. I know that 5.5 plus 5.5 is 11, and 11 times 2 is 22. So my perimeter is going to be 22. But if you didn't know that, you can just change it like we've been practicing. You can do 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, so 11 over 2 times 4 over 1. You can multiply across 44 divided by 2, which would be 22. You could also use the trick that I showed you, and if we have 11 over 2 times 4 over 1, I know that 2 is a multiple of 4. So I can divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And I also get 22. So do whatever way that works for you. Use your math sense. go ahead and try the rest of the problems on this page and then come see me.